very tiny floor plate, 200 square meters, to turn it into a community center. And then we've done community projects with the locals. So for example, we teach them how to make first simple pinhole camera, then they take New Year photo. Chinese New Year is a big thing for us. So they take their family photos using the camera they made for themselves. We work with different community groups. This one, basically a deaf and mute community. So they all know sign languages. So we were in dialogue with them. So they created poems and sentences using sign languages, and we turned them into visual pieces. And of course, we have a lot of exchange with them. Basically, there's a little project we call the Wanzhai Visual Archive. It's trying to connect the kind of the gaps in between of what's very much institutionalized or existing big bodies. You have the academic sectors, you have the business sectors, and then the social sectors, the NGOs. The Xinjiang settlement is a local social service provider. So trying to connect these. What we're trying to do is that you saw that picture earlier. There's certain tension. And then it usually takes 2 or 3 years at least for a big developer to collect all these homes around a neighborhood and then make these big shopping malls and hotels. And then we try to use the in-between time of these developments and then turn them into community centers. So the dialogues between the artist designers, the community, and also the economic forces, the developers, could basically come into one common place way earlier than this situation. This would be probably too late. So this is why I said a community center with certain creative exercise. We are all working on now trying to move on, also to tackle the larger government projects, not unlike what you have here. In Bilbao, you have this huge Guggenheim that for 10 years and everyone around the world has admired. And we were also making our own cultural district in West Kowloon. It's 40 hectares of land. We're investing $22 billion in it. It's the most beautiful view in Hong Kong. It's the last piece of reclaimed land, and it has the most fantastic view of this famous skyline of Hong Kong. So obviously, like anywhere else in the world, big body look for big name for design. So our government asked Ram Koolhaas to make OMA to make a scheme, asked the local big person called Rocco Yim to design something. Norman Foster, basically this is no design. He said that nothing that you need in Hong Kong is just a park. So he proposed a park. It's a pretty good job. Huh? And then we thought that there's something else we should do apart from this very top-down planning. So we hijacked this piece of land, not 40 hectares. We were able to secure 4 hectares of land for half a year. So we built this biennale, the second biennale, there after the prison, so to attract the crowd, the community there. Very specific. For example, this is like one day we have 2,000 elderlies all go there. And you can see this same situation, same comparison that you have still going on in Hong Kong, that you remember that China Pavilion with the people. In Hong Kong, we're all having this mega development, and we're trying to fight against it using the blood and flesh of us. So we're trying to hope that the government not to repeat the same mistakes, having these mega developments, but something more human. So we try to attract more voting from the people there. So in conclusion, one could say that Asia cities now is going through this awakening. There are opportunities, one could say, in different scales, from 200 square meters to 40 hectares we're talking about. And I think now we are back to this mentality of one could say before the Second World War, something around this time, 1930s, that we are so excited that we're going to reinvent our city and we try to create something new. This building was done 1931, I think, early 1930s. Back then in London, all the British architects, of course, cannot exercise or cannot experiment with any of this new idea called modernism. And then one kind of escape for them is go to the colonies. So they came to Hong Kong, and then they built some of these very interesting buildings. Back then in Hong Kong, it's like aliens, it's like spaceships in Hong Kong, and then to have all these architectural experiments. I think this kind of mentality goes on until the 60s and 70s with the economy boom. So this is about the same time what China is now going through, this economic boom. And then after a while, late 70s, that China wants us back. So the governor, and then back then the China leader, Deng Xiaoping, and then we stopped growing. We haven't been developing Hong Kong for 30 years, since 1980. So, and we have no new ideas. All the exciting films that you have seen about Hong Kong, they were remains, cultural remains from the 50s and 60s. Those were the exciting times of Hong Kong. I think now, after some 40 years of non-development, Hong Kong is kind of reinventing itself now. This is a picture when they a photograph that when they launched this new cultural district. I'm a very simple person, so I don't only do counting. In the middle, as you might remember, there's the next mayor of us, and then on the left-hand side, there's an architect, and then the artistic director, you have a professor, and then you have this next mayor, and then you have the, I don't know why he's there, he's the head of the stock exchange, and then you have the representative from Foster, and then of course Ram. Just by counting, you have 4 cultural practitioners plus 1 academia on stage, not all politicians. So that was very encouraging. All of a sudden, just by head count, we beat the politicians in this huge development. And it's the first time ever, at least in my kind of 36 years of time living in Hong Kong, that I've never seen a picture of architect in public. Really, in Hong Kong, we are always only the service providers. Architects never show their face. And then last year, they have this public consultation. All of a sudden, these people look pretty cool, and then, I mean, in a general sense. And then the advertisement is everywhere in Hong Kong, asking the public to vote for one of these 3 master planning options. I think it's pretty interesting that now the government or the public is trying to use the face or the work of creative professionals, including most of you, for their own use. So meaning that there's certain value in us that should be appreciated by the general public. So, and we better make use of those. I think that we are moving slowly, Hong Kong, but also China behind us, but very soon to catch up, that we're moving from regularities, a government of regularities, an economy of monopolies, and then institutes being locus, to something new, probably a city of curiosities, of economy of synergies, business value with social and cultural value, and also trying to create new platforms for collaboration internationally. So these are my 10 humble speculations going on in Hong Kong. I hope that this could give a bit of a microscopic, immediate, one could say, insights that you might share some of these ideas. So I'm at the university having a small research unit. If anyone is interested, please talk to me to have collaboration. We work with international institutes on some of these, either on the teaching level or research level. And we are trying to work on the future of China. That's why my lab is called the RISE Lab. We hope the China in the 21st century is not a great war, but a productive field of ideas with openings to the future. Thanks for giving the time to me for the presentation.